tablature. When you have 6 lines like this, this is for your guitar, and each line represents a string. This is your low E string, this is your A string, this is your D string, G, B, E, E, A, D, G, B, E. If nothing is written on the line, then you don't play anything. If you have a number on that line, like a 0, that means if you have a 0 here, that would be an E. If you have a 0 here, it would be a B. If you have a number 1 written right here, that would be your first finger on the E string right there, if there was a 1 written. If there was a 1 written right there, there would be your first finger on your B string. This would be your first finger on your G string and the first fret. Okay? If you have a 2 there, it could be your first finger, second finger, but it definitely means the second fret. Second fret E, second fret E down here. If the 2 was here, that would be a second fret A. If you have a 3 here, that would be 3 on your E string, 3 on your D string, etc. Alright, the tablature correlates directly with the notation E, A, D, G, B, E. The C chord. We're going to start with the easiest way. We're going to put our 1 finger on the B string on the first fret and the second finger on the 4th string on the 2nd fret, like that. Alright, and if you feel a little pinch on your fingers, that's normal. Guitars normally do feel a bit uncomfortable at the beginning until you build up calluses. Alright, this is the beginnings of a C chord, and like on the other one, you can only play these 4 strings, which is a little bit hard. When you're ready, add the 3rd finger on the next string, the A string, on the 3rd fret. So you have 3, 2, 1, like that. Then you can play all the strings, except try to avoid this one. If you want to get fancy, take this finger and move it over to the E string, and then add your pinky to the A string. So you have your pinky and 3rd finger on the 3rd fret on the bottom on these 2 strings, then the 2nd finger, and then your 1st finger. Then you can play all the strings. Practice taking your fingers away, mixing them up, and putting them back down. Mix them up, put them back down. The D chord. Alright, start with your 1 finger, put it here, then take your 2nd finger, put it on the same fret, but on the E string, and you're going to make a little triangle here. Your 3rd finger comes on the 2nd string on the 3rd fret, like that. And you can play 5 strings with this chord. That E is not in a D chord, so we're not going to use that. Remember, you can strum down, or you can practice getting your fingers, 1 on each string and a thumb on the low one. Practice going like that. If you want to get fancy, you can add the pinky now. This is a big reach. Over here. That's a lot more difficult, but some of you will get that. While we're here, the D7 is the same thing but backwards, kind of. You put your 1 finger here and you put these fingers here. It's like an upside down triangle. Alright, now we're going to make a G chord. I'm going to start with the simplest form that we can. and that will be, we'll take our third finger and put it on the 1, 2, 3, the third fret on the first string, that high E, hold it down, and you're only going to play those 4 strings. Consider these 2 have X's on them on the little chord diagram. We're not going to play them because these notes are not in a G chord. So you can either strum, you can pluck with your fingers like that, or you can use thumb first, second, and the fingers in order, or you can strum. Alright, now there's the next step is to get all the strings going on this chord, but that's a little harder. You put your third finger here, you put your second finger, the middle finger, over here on the same fret on the E string, and you have to be careful that it doesn't touch the other strings. That's, your hand has to kind of wrap around. And then this first finger goes on the A string on the second fret, like that. And you get all the strings that you can play the G chord that way. Try it again. Put 3, 3, 2, and 1 there. That's the G chord. If you want to make it a little fancier, you can switch this finger for your pinky, put your third finger on the B string, and then the other 2 where they were before. And you have a little fancier version of that G chord. The E minor chord. Take your 2 finger and put it all the way over here on the A string on the second fret, and then slip your 3 finger in next to it on the D string, also on the second fret, and that's all you have is those 2 fingers, and you can play all 6 strings for the E minor chord. Try it again. 2, 3. Try it again. 2, 3. Okay, the E minor 7 chord is a little easier. Put just your 2 finger right there. I'm not putting down any other fingers, I'm just getting them out of the way so you can see that. Now another way of making these is with the 3 and 4 chord. With the 3 and 4 fingers. Like that, or for the E minor 7, just the 3 finger. This again, like the A minor, this is something when we get into bar chords later on. That's why you would want to make it with the 3 and 4 rather than the 2 and 3. But for right now, just make it with the 2 and 3. The E minor pentatonic, or just plain E pentatonic scale. Penta means 5, so it's a 5-tone scale. You have E, G, A, B, and D. But those notes, E, G, A, B, and D, can be found in other places on the neck. You have open E, then your G is your 3rd fret there, and then A is the next string, and then B is the 2nd fret, and then D, and then E, and then we have a new octave, G, A, 2nd fret, B, 3rd fret, D, open E, and G. So in first position you have basically pretty much two full octaves there of this E, and here's a tablature version down here. E, 3, A, 2, D, 2, G, 2. This shows the same thing as this diagram right here. Alright, I'm going to play a little bit of the E pentatonic and just try to echo what I play. It was just E. Let's move up a little bit now. That's just a little bit of fooling around with these notes. Open E, G, open A, B, D, E, open G, open A, B, D, 3rd fret, and open E, and then G. So these are 3rd fret here, these 3 strings, and then the A string, D string, G string are the 2nd fret. So have a little fun with that. Hey Ho, Nobody Home uses two chords. It's in the key of A minor, uses an A minor, which would be the 1 minor chord, and then G, which would be the 2 major chords. So A minor and G. We're going to go back and forth. It goes back and forth and back and forth all the way through the song. You could try to make the A minor with your 2, 3, and 4 fingers. And if you're having trouble getting the 2 and 3 fingers over for the G chord, you could make the simple G and go. The A major chord to D major chord. We're going to start by making the A major chord. Take your 1 finger, put it all the way over on the 3rd string. 2nd finger, squish it in next to it, and your 3rd finger, squish them in all together so they are all on that, all behind that 2nd fret. Okay, and we'll do 2 A majors, 2. Now we're going to make 2 D majors. To pick your fingers up, put your 1 finger down on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. You put your 2 finger down and then add your 3 finger over here. And the D major chord, don't play that bottom E because that E is not in a D major chord. So you can play just the top 4 or 5 strings. 1, 2. Alright? This is what we're going to do. We're going to go back and forth from A to D. Okay, 1, 2, ready, play. A, D, D. A, D. A, D, D. A, D. Now we'll double the strumming. A, D, and E power chord practice. We're going to start with the first measure here with the A power chord. You can see the note names E and A and the tablature, 2nd finger, 2nd fret on the D string and open A string. And to do that, you're going to start here. This is your A string, the 2nd string. You can take your 2nd finger and put it on the 2nd fret of the next string, the D string. And those are little down stroke marks, those little things above the notes. And you have 8 in each measure. So it's like the first measure is like this. And then the next measure is the same thing. Then we move to the 3rd measure. You go to the D chord. You're going to move your finger over 1 string, and you're going to play the next 2 strings, the open D string and the G string with your 2nd finger on it. Again. And then we go back to where we started on the middle line now. The middle of the second line, move your finger over for the E chord, and you're going to play just these two strings, the bottom two strings. The bottom line, things happen a little bit faster, the changes happen a little bit faster. You instead of having two sets of 8, you have one set of 8 for each chord. There's the A, then the D chord, then the E chord, and then the A chord. The last note, you just hold the chord. Here it is a little faster. You can kind of mute the strings a little bit with the palm of your hand to get that sound. It keeps it from sounding like a little too ringy. The E, A, and B power chord practice looks very much like the A, T, and E power chord practice, except we have two chords that are different. This one's going to start on E, and it'll be the same as the one that we just worked on last week. You put your 2 finger down or your 1 finger down on the 2nd fret on the A string, and use your open E string. And it's 8 notes per measure. Then the next one is the A chord. Back to your E chord. Now the B chord gets a little harder. You're going to keep your 1 finger on the A string there, and you're going to put your 3 finger, or your 4, whatever works better for you, 2 frets higher on the 4th fret on the D string. Play those two chords. So here's that section of B. Then the bottom line, A. Hop that finger back over, put your 3 finger down, and then the E. Okay, here it is from the beginning. 1, 2, ready, E. A. Back to E. Now the B. E chord, A chord, B, E. And the full chords in the chord diagrams, there's your E chord, 1, 2, this is your A chord, and then the B is, you have to make it, it's like making an A with these 3 fingers, then you move them up 2 frets, and you can either put this finger here and play just those top 4 strings, or you can wrap your thumb around, or you can put your finger all the way across there to make that B. Thank you.